It is 6 o'clock, and I'm calling us to order for our workshop starting at 6, and we will continue until finished, and then we will adjourn and then re-adjourn for our meeting at 7 o'clock. And our residents are leaving. Bye.
Must have been really exciting.
They were here an hour and 45 minutes early. They came specifically to hear the chief's presentation because they serve on the Trophy Club Emergency Volunteer Association. So they were coming to support the chief. I think that's great. So thank you for being here, and we are going to open this workshop to Brandon Wright, who will facilitate. And I'm sure that each council person has come with many questions, so let's go for it.
Sure, thank you, Mayor and Council. Our first agenda item this evening is to talk about the current parking ordinance, the parking restrictions, particularly as they apply to Indian Creek, and also Trophy Club Drive, if anyone would like to talk about that as well. What I'll do is I'll just kind of quickly cover what the ordinance says and then turn it over to Councilmember Sheridan for the remainder of the conversation. I know he had requested this topic along with Mayor Pro Tem Rowe to discuss the way that the ordinance currently reads. Okay, so in this particular section of the parking ordinance, it states that the parking is restricted in the following areas, and then we'll just go item by item. Now, I will caveat this with saying this is not the overnight parking ordinance, right, or restriction. That is a different section, and that applies town-wide, right? So this would be a 24-hour-a-day restriction that further applies to certain sections of town. For one of those sections is number 1, Indian Creek Drive between its intersection at Trophy Club Drive and Heritage Court, and you have a map here showing what that is. So again, on Indian Creek, all the way from Trophy Club Drive over to Heritage Court, both sides of the road, restricted, no parking 24 hours a day. Then you also have section 2 on the southbound and westbound lanes of Indian Creek between Timberline Drive and Hillcrest Court, and the northbound and eastbound lanes of Indian Creek between Heritage Court and Timberline Court. It's language like this that makes it so that we need to draw a map to start to show what that looks like. As you can see, it covers all the way essentially from Heritage Court all up to Timberline, with a section there on the north side of the road that does not apply between Heritage and Hillcrest. And then the third section here, this is now outside of Indian Creek, but over in the Trophy Club Drive section, all the way from the frontage road, and then it goes all the way back to Avenue 20, except for there's an area there that you'll see it's in orange or maybe a dark yellow color. The ordinance reads that there's this area is designated and marked by striping or otherwise as a parking area where vehicles may park, stop, or stand for no more than 5 minutes for the purpose of reviewing the information/map sign.
And that is directly in front of the church, I think.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the town
That
has
gives
our
them
marquee
that
sign
gives them
right there. I think the intent was to
flexibility.
provide some flexibility for
Yeah.
those who want to stop and look at the sign.
Good.
For it. Our communications department does an excellent job with that sign, so they're feeling very proud of the fact that people would want to stop and take a look at it for a long period of time. Other than that, so that is the language that I've I've drawn the map for, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And I know Councilmember Sheridan wanted to have a conversation about that language. So I'll turn it over to him for the remainder of the conversation.
Thank you, Brendan. This area here, I'm going to concentrate on Indian Creek. There are approximately 16 or 17 residences that, according to this ordinance, cannot park in front of their house. So to make it easy, this ordinance was created in 1986. It's been changed 9 times, but this part of the Indian Creek has not been altered at all since then. The Tom Thumb wasn't built. Obviously, Trophy Wood Drive wasn't built. Trophy Club Drive ended at the old barn that was there. And going across to Skyline Drive was just being created at that time. So what I'm going to recommend, let me get to my recommendations. Brandon already said it, doesn't affect overnight parking. I'd like to change the wording of 12.04.0301 to Indian Creek between Trophy Club Drive and Hogan's Drive. That's the four-lane, divided boulevard. Just leave it at that. Void the rest. Then you're going to ask me about the safety of Trophy Wood in Indian Creek. We already have an ordinance that designates no parking within a major intersection like that. That would cover it. We don't need to specify it out. And I think that would resolve a lot of my thinking on this. The other one is to 12.04.03-2. Now, that's the part between Timberline and Hillcrest. I just want to avoid that, period. End of report. Just avoid that one. Then the third one, which Brandon mentioned, Trophy Club Drive, is 12.04.003, parentheses 3. Just leave it as is. Leave it alone. Doesn't affect any current resident. And I'll be glad to have any comments or any questions for me. Thank
Okay, I just want to clarify. You're reading from what ordinance?
I'm reading from the parking ordinance.
Okay.
The street and parking,
Okay,
12.04.003. Prohibited parking generally
okay.
is the, then under that, it has 1, 2, 3,
Got
it has
I
others,
couldn't-
but
That's right. I couldn't
that we're
remember where you
concerned
were.
with these
Okay,
3.
okay, good.
Councilmember Sheridan, can you just real quick repeat your desired modification for section 1 again?
All right, section 1 reads now, Indian Creek between the intersections of Trophy Club Drive and Heritage Court. I'd like to recommend that it said Indian Creek between the intersection of Trophy Club Drive and Heritage Drive. Excuse me, Hogan's
Okay,
Drive.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I had that correct.
No, that's correct.
Okay.
And that covers the current 4-lane divided road.
And we can park there.
No,
We cannot.
you cannot. But that's-
Cannot, okay, does that include the church?
No,
Okay.
no.
As long as it doesn't
This is
include church.
Trophy
Okay.
Club Drive
Right, to,
to Hogan's, driving into Hogan's.
exactly.
You-
Okay.
There's a 4-lane road there, and it's not,
Oh, I see what you
it's
mean,
not,
yes. I know what you mean.
there's no
Yeah,
stripes, there's no traffic calming.
correct.
Yeah, maybe I can show on the map here, just
Oh,
just real
please.
quick.
Yeah.
Just make it
Let's
so that
do.
everyone sees what we're looking at here. So this is the restrictions from number 1, right, Indian Creek Drive. What he's saying is between Trophy Club Drive here, right, over to Hogan's Drive, which is this intersection right here.
Okay,
This part right here would be removed from the no parking restriction.
excellent, okay.
Which would include in
yes.
front of the church,
Yes,
as you mentioned
exactly.
there.
Why
Okay.
wouldn't you just strike that language altogether? Because that area is so short along there, it's already covered by our no parking at nearest the intersections anyway.
Would it be? If it is, I'd be fine. I thought it was going to be a little bit too long.
There's a distance on every intersection.
Yeah,
that-
20
that
feet.
restricts
20 feet from the
parking.
intersection, correct, yeah.
Only 20 feet?
It's only 20 feet.
I
Right.
thought it
So,
was 200 feet.
No.
no, so therefore, that's
Right.
what I was thinking. That's why I wanted to leave it that way.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay?
And then
Then the other one,
section 2.
Yep.
Right, eliminating section 2 in its entirety, right? So this timber line all the way to about halfway through Indian Creek over to Heritage Court or Hillcrest Court would be removed as well. And then this section would remain as is. Okay? So essentially, if you kind of think of it, maybe think of it like this, the only restriction on Indian Creek would be between Trophy Club Drive and Hogan's Drive.
Right.
And the remainder would be a free parking
Oh,
zone.
and
But
that's a
again,
good
not-
way.
staff would have to
That's a
draw
good way to
this up
say it, then.
and present
There
it
you
to us. So this is
Correct,
my
yeah,
recommendation
yeah.
to give staff my guidance or preference.
Well, that's a good way to say it. Just that,
My understanding of driving around and seeing how things work is what Dennis just recommended is basically the way it gets used today. Is there
Correct.
nobody has
That's
any
probably
other
true.
feeling otherwise?
No.
I mean, in terms of being able to enforce, we don't have the right type of markings necessarily, right? So, unless staff has a desire to tweak it from what Dennis recommended, I think that sounds like the right way to go. My point in wanting to talk about this was just if there's cleanup, we can do cleanup, and that kind of seems like what it sounds like it is, so, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I
on
think
board.
with the existing language of, no parking 20 feet to an intersection, so long as you're okay with that idea at the different areas, I don't think that there's a staff recommendation that it be modified any more than that for it, so.
And really, there are no homes particularly facing that space except the Indian Creek townhomes. And they need a place to park when they have a guest.
Church events.
And then the church events. Other than that, there are really no homes directly facing Indian Creek on that stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think for the most part, we don't see a lot of parking on Indian
Yeah,
Creek
right.
as a result
Yeah.
for that,
Yeah.
because most people park on the side street.
Sure. Well, is that all? Hey, we can go across. We can go to
asked
Hutchinson
that,
Ave.
council,
Have a quick night.
I'll throw one out since we're looking at this type of thing. You could incorporate a better safety issue for the mobility that we're going to be looking at if we consider doing the calming lanes from like on Trophy Club Drive from Bobcat all the way down to Trophy Park Drive. That's like a freeway along there, guys. And if you put a restricted lane in there, that would allow the place for the mobility, a lot more safety for kids on scooters and e-bikes. It would also cause people to slow down a little
And
bit.
so what you do is you basically make it a one lane
Yeah,
with the calming lanes. Hey, we do it on Indian Creek. People are accustomed to it. It's no big deal. In fact, I was coming down Trophy Club Drive yesterday, and somebody was kind of coming onto the calming lane. I'm thinking, are they going to move over? And they did. They moved back in, to the lane. Is that another discussion for another time, or what?
I'd want to see some data, though, on how many cars go through, I know what you're talking about, from the roundabout down to Bobcat.
Bunch.
Yeah, it's a lot, so.
well, no, I said from Bobcat to the end of Trophy Club Drive. Okay?
Yeah.
I think it would be a little tough to try to put it between the roundabout and Bobcat, especially with the morning traffic for school and things of that nature.
Well,
And there's enough slip roads along there that the kids could actually ride safely in there.
Chief, would you like to speak to this? This is an open, we have 45 minutes here.
That's
We
a
didn't-
workshop. We don't-
I
let's
need
make
another
good-
don't have
coffee,
to
so
stay
we
on
only
it.
have 30 minutes.
Let's make good use of it. What do you
I'm
think
prepared
about
to
some
talk.
of this
I'm
discussion?
prepared to talk on this topic. That's an interesting discussion. So there are a lot of cars that live back there. I would like to see good recommendation on a traffic study. We have the device to do that. We can give you a count of cars, how many and what time of day. So
Well,
I think
it's,
it's something to look at, but there are sidewalks and everything over there.
Football games?
There are.
Yeah,
Let's not
That's
let's
true.
not take
That would-
any let's
Oh,
not take
yeah.
any traffic lanes away from that part of town.
Yeah.
For that
That's a
reason
good
alone.
thought, too.
yeah, I would say before,
do have
if you're
sidewalks.
interested in us exploring that option, obviously, taking a look at the traffic counts, things like that. But also, one thing we would want to do is probably do some survey work as well, and find out what the ideas of residents are in that area, on it, before we kind of get too far down that road, just to kind of make sure that it's not going to be overly, problematic from people's
Well, also, they
perspective
have the
back there.
slip roads there. They have sidewalks, plenty of sidewalks. Don't you have plenty of sidewalks?
We have plenty of sidewalks. I'm gonna say, you're mostly gonna impact two HOAs. You're gonna impact Abbey and then Highlands.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's.
Because that new one, that new development just went in there, I mean, that's not gonna really impact them.
The small ones.
Yeah, the small ones, no.
Well, thank
The
you.
only
That
thing
was a
too,
short
it'd be
discussion.
interesting to see the impact on traffic on a Saturday morning with everybody piling to the dog park.
Not that much traffic.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much goes down that road on a Saturday morning, so, with dogs parking in the back, so.
Any other discussion items, anything? This is open right now.
Do you feel council supports the recommendations?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing from the council is you're okay with the idea of the Indian Creek, no parking restriction being, shrunk down to essentially Trophy Club Drive and Hogan's Drive on it. So that would be sections 1 and 2, modifying it so that becomes the outcome there. Leave section 3 alone, which is Trophy Club Drive as it is, for that. And then I think what I'm hearing is for staff to begin to look at what would be the outcomes, like explore the option of limiting Trophy Club Drive from Bobcat to its end down to one lane.
Or at least a
And at least
Trophy
giving you some
Park,
information about it.
at least a Trophy Park Drive.
Can we get that information via email and not on an agenda so that we don't have, I worry about negative reaction to that. That's a big stretch of road. It's been there. We're sitting here with extra time in a workshop brainstorming. Well, this wasn't even like, what problem are we even solving here?
Well,
Like, we just literally went through, in 2025, we went through all number of traffic studies and nobody came back with any concern that there was a hot spot over there. So,
yeah, well, Annandale, yeah.
yeah.
Hey, I'm killing two birds with one stone. One, I live there and I see the traffic, and two, it's a lot safer if we have something like that for the kids' mobility.
Well, how about this? Yeah, let's get some data around it, and then we can talk further about whether or not, we want to continue to have conversations around that topic. So I think
Yeah, I think there's something
we won't
we
know anything unless we start to get some information. around
What,
it.
Chief, you weren't here. Does anyone have the, Rylan, I think it was before your time. Does anyone have information on the calming lanes? I remember Margie Cantrell is the council person who championed that, but I'm not, and I'm thinking it was because, on Indian Creek, because there were no sidewalks. I think that's the basis for which it was established.
It started out with, and you're correct with Marty,
Thank you.
it started out with painting Indian Creek as a 4-lane road. The concrete allows 2 lanes both ways by, and I'm using the definition of the width. And I was on P&Z at the time when it was coming through. There was a lot of pushback on that.
Yes, there was.
Okay,
I did
because of
know that.
making that a 4-lane road. That was also involved with the loop conversation and traffic. The sidewalks were discussed. Let's paint it 4 lanes and let's put sidewalks in. My thought on that one. Traffic calming was kind of putting a bike lane in, a walking bike lane. That was discussed and that was serious, but the post office came back and said, we will not cross it. So anybody with a mailbox could not get their mail. So then, I don't know exactly who came up with the idea of let's make it a calming lane. And in the calming lane, you can park, okay? You can ride your bicycle, you could walk, okay? You can go around cars if they're taking a left turn or something, but you just couldn't drive in it.
And it's funny, there are no signs that say, do not drive in the calming lanes. It's a learned behavior of driving in
It's a
Trophy
great
Club.
example of how sometimes people just figure out how to do the right
That's
thing
correct.
altogether, for the most part. I'm
Yeah.
sure y'all have some stories.
So
Yeah.
does that answer your question, Tim?
Yeah, yes,
Steve,
no, that answers
like,
it
yeah.
perfectly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is correct, and, but again, a lot of it did have to do with sidewalks, the mobility of being a challenge. And living in that environment, I think the calming lanes maybe help slow down the traffic some, coming down those hills, which
Oh,
is,
certainly, I would say,
You
the
think
year,
they
in
do?
the
You
years,
think they do?
in the years before they were painted, people often drove it like it was 4 lanes, even though it
Yeah.
wasn't striped.
Yeah,
Myself
because of
included.
the center
we were a kid.
Yeah, it was.
crack joint, people thought it was a
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
4-lane.
It's wide enough to be 2 lanes each direction.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I'm open to looking at that, especially since with the kids, right? Put those lanes in there. So I think there's something we can look at there with that. Especially on that part of town, there's a ton of the scooters, the bikes, tons of them. So maybe that'll help with some of the feedback we see on social media.
Tons, what is the number of tons?
Oh, I'll see 5, 6,
2,000.
7 of them in one group just going down my street at one time.
So that's tons.
But I did learn
There's
something
a fair amount
yesterday.
of ease.
No, there are.
Scootered over
They
there.
come right out of,
I had like 4 of
School.
them pull up yesterday. I was working on one of my cars, and I told them, thank you for wearing a helmet. They're all wearing helmets. And they made this comment to me, and I've never heard this before, if anybody's heard this. We're the Spartans. You guys ever heard that? Spartans are the kids that wear helmets. That's what they kind of labeled that now, is that if you wear a helmet, You're a Spartan. So I don't know if anybody had heard that. So I told them, thank you for wearing helmets, so.
Okay, other discussion, anything? Any other bright
I'm done.
ideas, Jeff?
I'm done.
You done? Okay.
And
All
we'll-
right.
Real
anybody else?
quick, before we adjourn, I got a little real-time feedback that our volume on our Facebook stream may not be
Oh, that is true.
adequate.
I've heard
If
that
somebody
too.
wants to do a little checking before regular session starts.
Very good.
I think it's because I don't speak in. Okay, let's try the volume. It is 6:20 and we are adjourning, and we will re-adjourn at 7 o'clock.
It's
Thank
been
you.
like that forever. Huh?
Maurice? Yes, it is. Oh, that's who his father is. It is 7 o'clock, and it's good evening, and the time is 7. I call the Trophy Club Town Council to order, and I want to welcome everyone here. It's so fun to walk around, and particularly we have a workshop, and we didn't use all of our time, and all the people come in and are able to visit and interact with both our council people as well as our residents and as well as our town directors and town managers. Gives us an opportunity to visit. And so I want to welcome everyone joining us today in this room as well as online. And it's a way for you to stay connected with Trophy Club and tune in to the council meetings. You might be surprised. It can be fun. And today is February the 23rd, 2026. A quorum is present. And I would like for us to please stand for an invocation by Pastor Bill. Come on up. Thank you so much, Bill, for being here.
Let us join together in prayer. Gracious and loving God, as we gather here tonight, we pause to remember that this work matters. Thank you for the privilege of serving this community we call home. Thank you for the people who live here, the families who are raising their children here, the business owners, the teachers, the volunteers, each one who makes this town what it is. Before we begin our discussions, we ask you to steady us, calm any anxious thoughts, soften any hardened edges, and help us to be fully present. Give us wisdom as we consider important decisions. Give us humility to recognize that none of us has all the answers. And give us grace in the way we speak and respond to one another. We are especially grateful for those who serve this town every day, our staff, our leaders, and our first responders who step into difficult situations to keep others safe. God, protect them, encourage them. Let them know their service is seen and is deeply appreciated. In a time when so much around us feels divided, help us to remember what we share in common, that we are neighbors. We care about this town. We want it to flourish. Teach us to listen carefully, to speak respectfully, and to act fairly. May every conversation tonight be shaped by a genuine desire to do what is right and good for all, especially for those whose voices are not always heard. Guide our decisions, strengthen our commitment to justice, kindness, and integrity. And may the work we do here tonight reflect a love of neighbor that brings light and hope to this community. We entrust this meeting to you. Amen.
I want to say thank you so much, Pastor Eason. We just appreciate our ministers who give us invocations. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. We will have, Tammy, would you like to read? What's the matter?
I was just advised somebody was filling out a card. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought we had an emergency
Okay,
going on.
so public comments.
Oh, God.
Oh, thank you. The town council received a public comment from Patricia Kiefer via email, which you all have a copy of, and a copy of the dais regarding the construction project on Forest Hill. In person, we have Denise Gant.
Now, I told Denise that I would help her be strong, so she's here speaking for the public, and there's no better place to be than to speak for the public. Thank you, Denise.
My name is Denise Gant. I live at 226 Fresh Meadow Drive, and I've lived here for 48 years. I want to comment about the Forest Hill Drive project. As I begin to make my plea, I want to first quote Chris Stapleton from his song, where rainbows never die. The song's opening and ending lines are, quote, "I'm an old man now. I can't do nothing. Young folks don't pay me no mind," end quote. That's how all elderly people feel, me included. Our request to have the pavement finish on Forest Hill Drive be smooth and match the surface of Fresh Meadow Drive have been largely ignored. It reminds me of that oft-quoted comment, "My mind's made up. Don't confuse me with the facts." When I requested the change to the planned rough finish on Forest Hill, I was given Falcon Drive as an example of the planned surface, as a way to convince me that the rough surface will be okay. I went there and took my walker. The vibrations from the roughness of the surface started to trigger my carpal tunnel syndrome, so I couldn't walk very long. I can attest that getting old sucks. As a community of caring and compassionate people, we should be easing that process, not exacerbating the problems with it. In asking for the surface to be smoother, like Fresh Meadow Drive, I was never given any justification as to why that could not be done. One comment was, "It's an engineering standard." Well, there are many standards, and the one used for Fresh Meadow Drive, when portions of it were repaved as recently as 2014, is perfectly acceptable as well. This rougher surface finish is fine for streets where there are sidewalks, but we don't have sidewalks in our neighborhood. So the street is where we walk, run, bike, everything. Another comment was that it was for vehicle safety, providing better traction for vehicles. Since Forest Hill is not a through street, we get very little traffic. And the traffic we do get is traveling at a very slow rate of speed. In the almost 50 years that I've lived here, there has never been a vehicle incident on Forest Hill due to the road surface. The only real issue with Forest Hill was the underlying support that caused the cracking and unevenness, not the surface finish. It's also been a long-standing practice that when repairs are made, that the area is left as good or better than it was before the work.
Denise, your time is, you want to,
I got
Could
just a
you
little
have some
bit more.
time, please?
thank you.
Thank you.
How much time?
One more minute?
One more minute.
Thank you.
The only, okay, so,
It's okay.
It's also been a longstanding practice that when any repairs are made, that the area is left as good or better than it was before the work. The planned surface finish for Forest Hill is neither the same nor better. It's worse. As good would be the same finish as it was and as Fresh Meadow is. Given that we do not have sidewalks in our neighborhood and the fact that the majority of daily traffic on Forest Hill is pedestrian and not vehicular, the priority should be given to the pedestrian needs. The majority of the people living in the neighborhood, young and old, want the same surface finish as Fresh Meadow, and we would like to be heard. Absent a justifiable reason to not follow the wishes of the residents, I'm asking that the contractor be immediately instructed to finish Forest Hill the same as Fresh Meadow before it's too late. In closing, I ask that you think about your aging parents and what you would do for them given the same situation. Would you ignore their wishes or would you listen?
Okay, thank you.
Please hear us and do the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Good job, Denise.
The next speaker is Brandon Blake.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Blake, 2 Palmetto Court, Trophy Club, Texas.
Hi, Brent. You want to, you can raise up the,
Oh, yeah, I'm a little bit taller,
does
thank
that help?
I'm here tonight for a couple of reasons, but I'm going to start off by saying that, you know, we have successes, we have failures in life, and this last year, I know this is not important to the council, I have failed deeply at fantasy football, and that is the reason for wearing this vest.
Okay.
I'm not going to take up much of your time, but I want to also comment.
You have 3 minutes.
I'm going to go in a circle. Right now, I do live on 2 Palmetto Court where y'all are redoing the water lines, and had a porta potty in my front yard for 3 weeks, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, these guys are doing a fantastic job. They're doing the best they can. Pull up in my driveway, get out of the car, a guy's coming out of the porta potty, you make eye contact with him. And you know, I'm an architect by trade, so I go on job sites, and it's a little awkward, but I am gonna say, I feel like this council is doing a really great job.
Well, thank you.
And as a whole, I've been very impressed by what's going on, and I just wanted to say, even infrastructure is part of life. Are my sprinklers working perfect right now? They're not, but I'm not mad at council about that, because I know you're making the decisions that are hard decisions to make us move forward and make the town better, and thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and I'm not gonna draft Lamar Jackson next year, but thank you.
Did the camera get his back shirt?
Hopefully it did. That was a league punishment, yeah.
You want a photo, Mayor?
I think we have one.
I have no further sign.
That's it. Okay. Then we shall go on to, we have the community spotlight. We don't have a specific feature. However, are there any comments the council would like to make? Go for it.
Okay. Mayor, as a council person, I've received a few emails about the Forest Hill project, road finish. And in my opinion, and I don't speak for the council, I speak for myself as a council person, and this is my opinion, the request is cosmetic only and the appearance of the road. There are some roads, like Forest Hill, that were installed 45 years ago prior to any municipal supervision. The Forest Hill project also includes a section of road that's 9.8% slope. That is well in excess of what current engineers would recommend. Trophy Club Town has used broom finishes on their roads since the late 1980s. And that is both a regional and a nationwide standard, and it's safe for walking, for biking, for strollers, for skateboards, and for vehicles. I'm not quite yet to the walker stage, even though I'm getting close, but so I can't speak for that. I have broom finish in front of my house. I have Indian Creek was redone in 2005, and it was done with a broom finish. And I stand behind the staff using these finishes. Thank you.
Any other comments? Well, I would like to tell you that the NISD Techno Expo is Thursday, February 26th. And in cooperation with the Lakeview fourth graders, Tammy Dixon, our town secretary, and myself, the mayor, we will be participating with the fourth graders, creating a council simulation. And the purpose of it is how the local government passes a law. So there will be 6 students speaking for the public, just like we've just been doing, and there will be 6 students council, and Tammy will be acting as the town secretary, and I will be acting as the town mayor, and we will conduct a meeting passing the law of wearing helmets. And it's a great honor for a teacher to be asked to participate at the Techno Expo, and I would just like to call out Tammy Raspberry's fourth grade team for making it happen. So thank you, Tammy Dixon, for joining me on Thursday night, and that's what will be happening. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, we will go on. We will have Brandon Wright speak for us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple of updates for you. First of all, coming up on Friday, March 6th, we have our movie night. The movie is How to Train Your Dragon, the 2025 version. So the movie begins at 6:45 p.m. Come early and pick your spot and enjoy this free community event. Also, we have coming up at the end of March, March 28th, Extravaganza. So springtime fun for every bunny.
Oh, wow.
There
Bring
you
out-
go.
put
Join
on-
us for Extravaganza.
on your ears.
I know. I try with those. I just don't do very well. A free family-friendly celebration at Harmony Park on Saturday, March 28th from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. Kids ages 0 through 10 can enjoy this age-divided egg hunt, photos with the Easter Bunny, inflatables, face painting, and a petting zoo, with food and coffee available for purchase. Our upcoming boards and commission meetings, we have on February 25th, our Economic Development Corporation. They meet at 6 o'clock. We also have on March 12th, our Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at 6 o'clock. And then on March 16th, our Parks and Recreation Board also meets at 6 p.m. We always encourage the public to come and to pay attention to the topics discussed at these various boards and commission meetings. As a reminder, there will be only one regular town council meeting in March, and that will be held on March 9th due to the spring break. The next regularly scheduled town council meeting will take place on April 13th. However, there is a special town council meeting in between for a development project, and that will be on March 23rd at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. So normal meetings on March 9th and then again on April 13th, but we will have a special short meeting on March 23rd at 6 p.m. Okay. And that's all that I have this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Always at work. Dean, our civic,
All right, so in section 9.05.033, chief of police is created for the town. The chief shall be the chief law enforcement officer of the town. He or she shall organize and administer the police department conforming with the codes of the town and constitution and laws of the state and the United States. Well, in the last few years, the state of Texas has adopted several new rules that the chief is required to abide by, and part of that, I'm speaking about this today because you see it here on your agenda, if the folks out there are trying to figure out where do these items come from, it's from state law reporting requirements, and so your chief today is going to present these items. If you're really interested and you want to go and look in the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, it's in Article 2B, and a lot of these new laws were added in 2023 and became effective in 2025. And that would include all of the information. If you're wondering what information do police officers take when they give you a citation, all of it's in that section.
good, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, consent agenda, please.
This part of the agenda consists of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be removed from consent by any council member by making such request prior to a motion and vote.
Is there a motion for consent agenda?
I'll move that we approve consent agenda items 3 through 7.
Thank you.
Second.
And Jeff seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passes. That's for you, Ron.
Individual items. Item 8, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Chapter 1, Division 1, Article 1.08, Parks and Recreation of the Trophy Club Code of Ordinances by amending Section 108.001B, adoption, by adopting updated standards of care for youth programs.
Okay, this is Chase, I'm going to open a public hearing. It's 7:18, and we will open a public hearing.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just like the police chief has these annual things to report on, this is also one of the requirements by the state of Texas for us to run our summer adventure camp here in Trophy Club, is to annually adopt an ordinance for the standards of care of highlighting a few of these things, is providing the governance and oversight. And so this applies to all Parks and Rec youth programs in the state, as well as things that we do such as inspections, background checks for the staff, as well as documenting complaint procedures to ensure our accountability for the children that we take under our care during the 10 weeks of our summer adventure program. Also, some of those highlights that you see in the standard of care are staff qualifications as well as our training, talking about our first aid, CPR, and AED certifications, as well as our ratios of how many children per staff members. And then also how those complaints, if we have any from parents, are cycled up and can be able to be heard and resolved with that. And so we are just coming before to present the standards of care. There's no major revisions from last year. And we are just looking to adopt those for this 2026 summer season.
Okay. Is there any comment from the public? Anyone? All right, at 7:20, we'll close the public meeting. And are there discussion items from the council? Sounds like there is.
I'll make a motion. Actually, I'm prepared to make a motion
You want a second motion?
to amend Chapter 1, Division 1, Article 1.08 Parks and Rec of the Trophy Club ordinances by amending Section 108.01B, adoption by adopting updated standards of care for youth programs.
Okay, is there a second? Dennis seconds. Is there a discussion? I do have a question, if I may ask.
Yeah.
I want to, our student number
Yes.
is limited or based on our space and the dollars we have to commit to employee support, children's counselors and such as that.
Correct. So there's a couple of factors with that. From the start of the summer camp, way back when it started, there was 50 campers. We moved that number. The highest we saw was 70 campers one summer.
Okay.
But we've been at 60 campers, which over the span of 10 weeks, our numbers, when we look at the full program, we have 600 spots. But that is 60 children per week for 10 weeks. Some of those things are also staffing, being able to have adequate number of staff hired, which is always a struggle with lifeguards, rec attendants, summer camp staff at our disposal, as well as we do weekly field trips on Tuesday and Thursdays. And so the bus expense is a big thing of looking at, if you go over that number, we're looking at multiple buses, which currently last year we spent about 18,000 on buses. And so we're negotiating with school districts on getting that number down, but then also the space. But I think the biggest limiting factor is our staffing as well as our current allocated budget.
Okay. And the fee for attendance this year is?
So right now, we have that at 175. And as we're looking at our budget, we're having some discussions on where that needs to be. Last year, we didn't break even. We were about 2,000 under, just because our bus had gone up quite significantly. And so we're right there close within the 90 to 100% cost recovery for the camp.
Well, I want to commend you on the programs because they get rave reviews outside of Trophy Club because we have people from outside of Trophy Club coming to our camps, so.
Yeah, last year, the camp specifically filled up in, I believe it was 23 or 24 minutes of registration being open. So it's a very high demand program.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Chase. Great job.
Item 9, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Plan Development District 27, PD 27, to revise the concept plan and development standards for the Trails Development, an 18-lot, single-family residential subdivision on approximately 7.603 acres, generally located north of McRae Street and Milson's Point Drive, situated in the Thomas J. Allen Survey, Abstract Number 7, and J.S. Kenley Survey, Abstract Number 1641, Town of Trophy Club, Denton County, Texas.
Okay, we will open it for a public hearing at 7:24.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. So on January 12th, just a little over a month ago, council approved the Trails preliminary plat, and if y'all recall, we had a condition for amending PD 27, which would be revising the concept plan and development standards. So this evening, Foxwood LLC is requesting to further amend PD 27 by updating and replacing the previously approved exhibits associated with the ordinance. So they've submitted two things. One, the Exhibit A, which is a refined legal description, and then Exhibit B, which is a concept plan and the development standards. Foxwood, yep. So we do have representatives here, so after the public hearing, if y'all have any questions, but in a nutshell, I'll show you these two slides. So down at the bottom, just for clarity, because that's not correct, we changed to that. So it shows the existing trail, it shows it on the developer's property that they've got control of, and that they're gonna dedicate that back over to us. So that lot 21X, which is here. So just going back, that was
Yeah,
the,
thank you.
that
Okay.
was the other one.
Okay.
And again, that's not in the developer's control because that's owned by another gentleman. And so,
Okay.
okay. The request does not modify or approve any land use, zoning designation, density, or overall development established in the ordinance, number 2025-36. The proposed amendment to PD 27 does satisfy the preliminary plat condition of approval. Notice of the public hearing was distributed as required by our zoning ordinance and state law. Staff has not received any letters in opposition or support. Town Attorney Dean has reviewed the ordinance as to form and legality. Commissioner Biggs was not at the P and Z meeting,
Right.
and Mr. Branham was unavailable for this evening, so I'll give you all their report. At the meeting, the commissioners concurred with staff and unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote. And that is it.
Are there any comments from the public? None? 7:27, public hearing is closed. Any questions, discussion from?
Mayor, can I
Yes.
make a motion to approve case number PD AMD 26-001, PD 27 amendment?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Anybody? Questions to the developers? I have a question. Are y'all going to build a pickleball court out there?
Believe it or not, where we were gonna gift to the town at that green area,
That's what I'm thinking.
it was going to be. and
Yes?
then
What happened to it?
There's a builder I know that,
Oh,
worried about the noise from the neighboring house. Click, click, click. Yeah, we're worried about that first lot right there above it.
okay.
There's not enough room without there being an extreme
I
amount
know.
of noise to that neighborhood.
Well, at one time, you had said there was going to be a pickleball court. Now, those people are going to be very disappointed.
It was on the original plat, it just
I know.
noises.
Okay. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passes. Thank you for being here.
There's a lot of area up there.
I know what, I'm thinking so
Up in there.
too.
I'd like to buy the
Look at all that area.
We're happy to help with a pickleball.
Okay. Hey, talk to Chase. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for being here. Is this the last time we're going to see you for a while, or what? Oh,
March 23rd.
oh, again?
Final plat.
Okay.
Number 14 is the lucky charm.
All right. All right. Come back. Look it up.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Item 10, conduct a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending Plan Development District 37, PD 37, to revise the concept plan and development standards for Bobcat Village Phase 1 and Phase 2, a townhome residential district on approximately 4.9 acres located on Bobcat Boulevard, situated in Thomas H. Callaway Survey, Abstract Number 272, Thomas Kelly Survey, Abstract Number 704, Town of Trophy Club, Denton County, Texas.
Okay, I'm going to open a public hearing, please, 7:29.
Okay, this is very similar to the previous agenda item. So CL Oil Investments is requesting to amend PD 37. If you all recall way back, December 13th, 2021, the chambers were full that evening with a lot of standing room only with Roanoke citizens. That evening, council approved a rezoning for the 4.9 acres from MH manufactured housing to a planned development. They also adopted PD-specific development standards to allow for development of 35 townhome units. All right. The current request seeks to further amend PD 37 by updating and replacing the approved concept plan. The revised concept plan modifies internal street alignments and lot configurations, resulting in a more uniform lot sizes and reduction in the number of corner lots, particularly in the northern portion of the development. So I've got these two slides, and I apologize. The first one, and this was the way it printed out, but so I've got the two that we can refer back to after we close the public hearing. Any other questions? But the revised concept plan increases the total amount of open space from 1.3 acres to 1.5. It also redistributes the open space in a more centralized and accessible manner. Within Phase 1, the revised plan reduces the number of lots in order to allow for additional open space. Phase 1 is down here. And then within Phase 2, the open space is consolidated into a centrally located area to be shared and usable by all the lots. Overall, the proposed amendment represents a refinement to the original approved concept plan by adjusting the site layout and design elements. The request does preserve the PD's previously approved density, land use, and zoning framework. And notice of public hearing was distributed as required by our zoning ordinance and state law. Staff has received no letters in support or opposition. Town attorney has reviewed the ordinance as to form and legality. And at our February 12th meeting, the P&Z meeting, commissioners concurred with staff and unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote. In a nutshell, they were pretty impressed on the new layout. They really liked all the new green space. One of them even kind of pointed out, I'll go back here, this area, you basically just had parallel parking up against the wall, and you can see it's just a small ad, but it's nice. With the green space and then the sidewalk, it ties into here where the pedestrians can walk across and then go on up to the northern portion. And that's all I've got. We do have, Joshua is here if y'all have any
Good.
questions for
Anybody?
him as well.
We're good? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:33. Are there discussions? What I would like to say is, I think this Bobcat Village and this Village Trails is going to be a great addition to this town, coming up around the same time, offering a good value of high-end, or, I mean, they're all high-end, but housing various different kinds of lifestyles. So I think it's exciting for Trophy Club. It's an exciting time to bring in new residents.
Drees is going to be the
Dree,
builder.
correct. And that's gonna be a-
They
they'll-
pretty much did
they-
most of the gas well sites.
They build a good product, too. So that'd be great. I like the new design.
The layout's great.
I'll make a motion to approve case PD-AMD-26-002.
You're good. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? Motion passes. Thank you.
Item 11, consider a preliminary plat request for Bobcat Village Phase 1, formerly Well Site 1H, a townhome residential development on approximately 2.788 acres located on Bobcat Boulevard within the Thomas H. Callaway Survey, Abstract 272, and the Thomas Kelly Survey Abstract Number 704, Town of Trophy Club, Denton County, Texas.
I should have pulled up a chair.
You should have. So we're not in a public hearing, so you can just,
Okay, so, Town of Trophy Club, we received an application from CLO Investments requesting approval of a preliminary plat, Bobcat Village Phase, Phase 1. Formerly identified as Well Site 1H. Just for the record, what you have before you, we printed off copies. We added the capped gas wellhead. We just inadvertently just forgot to put it on there, so that's our fault. But that's what y'all will be approving this evening. And I was asked earlier, when was that capped? It was August of 2009. That wellhead never produced any gas.
oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
that's, I read that in the 52 pages.
Wow.
So the preliminary plat proposes subdivision of the property into 23 total lots, 21 of them being residential, and the other 2 are open space private street lots. All public and private improvements will be required to be met by town standards and will be further reviewed during the final plat and civil construction plan review by the MUD, our engineers, and our fire marshal. Staff has reviewed the preliminary plat application, finds the submittal to be in general conformance of our subdivision regulations, zoning ordinance, engineering design standards, and does meet the requirements of the preliminary plat checklist. Town attorney and engineer has reviewed this to form and legality. At the February 12th P&Z meeting, the commissioners concurred with staff and unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote.
Okay. So.
I couldn't put it on consent because we had to do the,
I know, that's good. So is there a motion for this?
I'll move that we approve case PP-26-002, preliminary plat for Bobcat Village Phase 1.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jeff seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, and motion passes.
Item 12, consider a preliminary plat request for Bobcat Village Phase 2, formerly Well Site 1 HB, a townhome residential development on approximately 2.106 acres located on Bobcat Boulevard within the Thomas H. Callaway Survey, abstract number 272, Town of Trophy Club, Denton County, Texas.
okay, last one for the evening for me. COL Investments requesting approval of preliminary plat for Bobcat Village Phase 2. 17 total lots, 14 residential townhomes lots, and 3 of the lots are private street and open space, lots 15, 16, and 17X. I didn't mention it on the other one, but it's the same for both. The streets, the internal streets are private, and the common areas as well, and they'll be owned and maintained by the HOA for Bobcat Village.
But it will not be gated, correct?
It will be gated.
It will be,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
perfect. It is all theirs.
Yes, it was a requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Do anybody remember why it was a requirement?
Yeah, children,
Well, parents
oh.
pulling
Oh,
through
yes,
there
parking
and
in
then
there.
parking
That's
to
correct.
pick up.
I
yeah,
remember that.
shortcut. All public and private improvements will be required to meet town standards and will further be reviewed during final plat and civil construction plan review by the MUD, our engineers, and fire marshal. Staff has reviewed the preliminary plat application and finds that the submittal is in general conformance with our subdivision regulations, zoning ordinance, engineering design standards, and meets requirements of the preliminary plat checklist. Town attorney and engineer has reviewed as to form and legality, and at our February 12th P&Z meeting, the commissioners concurred with staff and unanimously recommended approval with a 5-0 vote.
Okay, other questions, anybody? Are we all good? Is there a motion, please?
I'll
Gary?
make a motion to approve item number 12, case PP-26003, Bobcat Village Phase 2.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Gary seconds. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item 13, consider accepting the 2026 Parks and Recreation Comprehensive Master Plan.
Thank you. And this is yours, Chase.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excited to be in front of you. As you know, over the council retreat last month, we were able to spend a good 3 hours going over the specifically Chapter 8 of the Parks and Rec Master Plan and talking about all the projects, the programs, the policies that were within there. Some of those things that were taken from that meeting, we have updated the document, as well as you do have 2 sheets in front of you as we were looking at the verbiage regarding Freedom Dog Park, and to make it more open. As coming out of that meeting, we really talked about looking at that, all the acres of that park, instead of specifically just the playground and restroom facilities, but looking at how we can maximize that space. And so that was one item that we talked about, was looking at a full park redesign and not just the playground and improvements and restrooms. But then we really talked a lot about the priority list of, instead of having just an X, of really looking at the projects and looking at, you know, the low, medium, and high. And then also getting an in-depth look of, over the course of the plan, from 1 to 9+ years, of when those projects would be coming through, and looking so that we could functionally, as a town, be able to fund some of these projects to make these enhancements to the master plan. And like I had mentioned, you know, as we start on this, this is just us getting in the car together and moving forward, and being able to get to that point of getting more dedicated information for these improvements as we go along. And then also looking at classification verbiage usage all throughout the document, of looking at accessible features as well as, you know, ADA standards. And then one of the things that came from the December that we talked about and had improved was looking at our demographics and the population projections, and how that ties over to our national standards, and how we rank within those national standards. And so we looked at the Texas Water District and came on using that projection as our standard, as that's close to, as we know, we're almost built out, and that is what the Texas Water District knows that we're going to be close to, as well as we do. And so having a realistic view of our population growth and the acres needed per individual, to make sure that we're staying in line with our national standards that have been set. And then also, one of the big things was looking at new projects versus maintenance of existing, and having a breakdown of that discussion of how to fund those types of projects. Super excited about this master plan, because it'll help guide us as we look at our budgets every year and look at capital projects, as well as staffing and everything that encompasses how we operate as a department. And like I had mentioned, you know, we were talking about timeframes where this was a 14-month project, and just excited to get to this point, to kind of get to that starting line. I do have representatives that were here from the beginning, with Chris and James from Park Hill, but would love to open it up for any questions or comments before.
Real quick, Chase, before that, can you just explain the modified documents they have in front of them real fast for the Freedom Park?
Yeah, so you'll see, as far as on page 141, specifically about the Freedom Dog Park, it specifically talks about looking at a design with the allocated space that we currently own within that park, versus just addressing the ADA playground and facilities and the walkway around that. And then as you go to the table that's in Chapter 8 in 1.1B, it has that same verbiage as that's allocated, looking at that project, as well as the time frame of when we look to take that project on and bring it forward to council.
Yeah, so those pages are replacing the versions that are in the packet with you. They need to be further refined in order to capture that entire idea. So.
Correct.
Well, my comment is that I really like the vision for the dog park. I really, really like it. And it's going to be a large investment over some time, but it will serve our community in a wonderful way, providing us somewhat of a similar Harmony Park in the north. Now, you're not going to have soccer fields out there, I don't think.
Correct.
But you will have a lot of family activity, and that's what Harmony Park basically has, is family activity. I mean, all the time, all the time. So I just am so excited about the thought of reimagining that space to be a very viable environment.
Yeah.
I would even drive back to the back of the park. I'd take Dennis with me. So we would go visit the dog park in the back. So it's great. Good idea. Other comments? Are we ready to?
I wouldn't be, unless I had an objection.
You wouldn't be what? I know, you have an objection, so put it out there.
I
Let's
still object. I objected from the very beginning. I still object to having the council and the council's photo in this thing. And on page, I think it's page 3.
Okay, so,
I don't think it's necessary or shouldn't be there.
okay. That's an objection. Will that keep you from voting on this?
Maybe?
Okay, then, someone have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 Parks and Recreation Comprehensive Master Plan.
I'll second.
And Stacy seconds, all those in favor?
Well, with the motion on the floor, I just want to echo
okay, I'm
what
sorry.
Jeanette said
Okay.
as far as, this is a large, costly document, and it was costly to develop, costly in terms of time and investment and staff effort. And also, obviously, we had outside folks come in and help us put it together. It is also potentially very costly to implement and will be over the course of many, many years serving as a guidepost for us to look at and determine how we're going to allocate our resources over time. And it will be fluid. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that a vote in favor of this plan is a vote for the plan as a framework and a concept for how we're going to manage our vision long-term and resources and things of that nature. It doesn't necessarily mean that every single thing will be built or funded or on a specific time frame, but I am happy to have the blueprint laid out. I think it's a first step in programming what we want to do to move forward over a long period of time. So appreciate all the hard work from all of you folks, and obviously the council spent a ton of time over it in our January retreat too. So.
And I
good
think
work,
that's
everybody.
well said, because it also gives new council, new leadership, the blueprint for going forward and finishing a job that's been started, because it is going to be a lot of these jobs are big.
Yeah.
So, Trophy Club, don't think it's going to happen all tomorrow, but it will begin, and that's the most important thing. We're going to start. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
We have a motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the
Need a vote.
floor. So all those in favor, raise your hand. Ta-da! All those opposed?
I will take it out of my copy.
That motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Item
love-
4, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Item 14, consider an ordinance of the Town of Trophy Club, Texas, amending Chapter 12, Traffic in Vehicles, Section 2, Article 12.07, Motorized Carts, and Article 12.06, Micromobility Devices.
Thank you, Chief. And Chief, I just want you to know before you start, I want everybody to know there were residents in here to hear Chief's presentation, and they came at 6 o'clock, and I told them it'd be an hour and 45 minutes, and we're right on the dot.
Nailed it.
We nailed it. However, we also have residents in the audience who came here specifically to hear your presentation. So thank you for your follow-through and commitment.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor, Council. I want to take a moment to look back. We spent a lot of time on this topic. This issue was brought forward in last year's strategic plan initiative and stuff, and so we spent a lot of time. We put a working group together, a traffic safety study, and then we did 2 workshops to spend time to discuss these topics. And so we're here tonight to talk about approving an ordinance, taking in all that information and guidance to move forward. So we do have draft handouts of what the officers will use to hand out to enforce these things and educate our community. One is for the golf carts and one is for the micromobility. It's in your packets, and we do have some in the back of the room. These are just a draft, so they're not the formal handouts yet. We will print those up in a much different type of medium, better paper and stuff to hand out. So we'll get to that in a second. So, but again, thank you for the time and effort you put into this one. This is important for our community. And when we look at the changes to this ordinance for golf carts, all we did for that one was to add seatbelts to golf carts. So when people are driving with young kids on a golf cart, at least we have a way to secure them in there and safely manage that. And then as we move forward towards the micromobility ordinance, which was a bigger add, we talked about using kids on scooters. So we added a terminology to allow them to use the sidewalks and changing the age to 14 for kids, especially when we talk about wearing helmets. So we do have a requirement for kids under 14 to wear a helmet. And then we added lights on scooters and white lights for nighttime use. So if they're going to use it at night, we do allow that, and we allow them as long as they have a white light and red lights on their scooters. So we do have an educational part where they do have to be courteous to people on the sidewalk. They have to give way and make notice as they approach people on the sidewalks. And then we have an accountability phase where not only them but their parents are being held accountable. So there is a fine to go with this from anywhere from $1 to $200. So that's the enforcement side of this ordinance. So it was well thought out, it was well done, and I think tonight is a good way to move forward for our community. The officers will be already started to look at this stuff. They're already prepared. We're already working with the community. We're already talking to these kids as we see them in groups and at places around town, starting to educate them on what is coming. So, and in the future, you will see these around town, not only at businesses, but at the schools. Our SROs will have these and get them out, because if you drive in front of a school today, you see plenty of these devices parked in front of schools.
Yes.
So,
Would you take some to the Hogan's Glen guard gate?
yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to try to get them out as much as possibly.
Don't forget that we have an enormous number of kids go through there. And the guards don't know how to speak to the kids, and these are just going to be perfect handouts.
Yes. Yeah, they're short and sweet, but they're trifold, and they really just get right to the point. So, and they highlight what the rules are and what the penalties are and questions people may have. So, great idea. So,
Any comments? Yes?
I do. Oh, Ms. Gant has one.
Didn't, please come to the,
Talking about the
Thank
micromobility, and you said about being on sidewalks. Does
speaking
that
to,
prevent them from being in the street?
No.
It's just an addition to the street?
Yes.
Okay.
So only half the town has sidewalks, the other half doesn't.
I know,
So- So we
Case in
can't,
point.
we got young kids, 10 and under, or 14 and under, riding on these cars. We don't want them engaging too much with 30-mile-an-hour vehicles. So where there's a sidewalk, we're going to try to encourage them politely to use the sidewalk.
okay. Other questions?
Yeah, and with the speed limit on the sidewalk at 15 miles an
yes.
hour, also
It's-
that kind of helps educate the children that if you're on the sidewalk, you need to be at an appropriate rate of speed to help ensure that everyone's safety on the sidewalk.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What does enforcement look like without looking like we're radaring, scooters and bikes going down the road? What does this look like as a procedure to the officers without looking, taking away resources from criminal activity, and now we're, I want to make sure that if we're going to do this, that we're going to enforce it, but also not look like we're not doing our other job.
Well, tonight, we're passing an ordinance, which is a law.
Yep.
So, but the officers do have plenty of discretion. So our main goal is compliance. So we strive to have everybody comply with what the rules are. So the officers use their discretion, and they will educate and train people, and if that doesn't work, then we'll take the next step. And that's why there's a penalty included.
How do we get this information to parents?
Well, that's where we'll.
Right here.
Yep.
Right.
Handouts, publications, we're going to put it on our website, we're going to have a page dedicated to that, and am I missing something?
SROs.
So, SROs, absolutely, the SROs.
Will there be
heavily
more than
engaged.
just an SRO? Will there be a presentation in our schools? Can we get, in front of the kids?
Yep, we can work towards that, and that's what the SROs are really good at, is getting in front of the kids.
Okay.
So, yep. Thank you.
It's a challenge, and the critical success factor are parents' oversight.
Yep.
It's just the bottom
Yep.
line. I don't, whether it's in schools, on the streets, it's our parents help us. That's all I'm saying, parents, help us.
Yes.
Help your neighbors, because we have people, like we have a resident in the audience today, she's frightened by the bikes that are driving at night without lights. And she doesn't have any power over those children, but the parents do.
Yep.
And so parents help. This is a plea, parents, help.
So what does that look like? If you pull over a child, it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, it's dark, is our officer going to contact the parent? Like, are we going to track them down? What are we going to do? Like, what
If
does
they
that
need
look like?
to, I mean, if there's a scenario where tonight we pass a law and they got to have a light on their bike and they don't, then we reach out to the parents and talk to them. Yep.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
So,
I'd much rather that route than start calling the parents and issuing tickets. It's about education,
Yeah,
right? We'll get the word out.
okay,
So-
yeah, you do a good job, so we will
Yes.
anticipate a great job well done. So thank you for your help.
Thank you.
So we need a motion on this? Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion for agenda item number 14. Consider an ordinance of the Town of Trophy Club, Texas, amending Chapter 12, Traffic and Vehicles, Section 2, Article 1207, Motorized Carts, and Article 1206, Micromobility Devices.
I'll second it.
Stacy seconds. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. We will go to the next item.
Item 15, consider accepting the Trophy Club Police Department's 2025 racial profiling report.
Well, this is a lot of data.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Good grief.
So, yes, this is one of the required reports by state law, as our town attorney, Dean Roga, talked about earlier in the night. This is one of the heaviest reports that we put together every year. It's one of the 4 that are part of our accreditation program also. So I'll touch on some of the stats real quick. But again, this goes to the true nature of our police officers and their professionalism and their outstanding work in our community, showing some of the things that, how good we do stuff. So this year, we had 7,202 traffic stops. And last year, we had 7,029. So we went up a little bit. We had a few new officers, so it generates a little bit more work. Out of that, we stay pretty consistent with our citations. We issued 2,285 citations. So during the course of this year, as you can see, we have the numbers here on how the citations were actually broken down by the race and type, and then the search data on top of that.
Do you have screens to go with
Oh,
this?
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate that. Yep.
Sorry.
So here are the statistics on our traffic stops from this year and last year. You can see this slight increase. And then also on our citations, only our citations went up very slightly. So just 25 added tickets this year. So the officers out there, the whole goal of this is compliance. And the reason for the report is to track to make sure that our officers are doing the job correctly. So we haven't had any complaints this year. We do get the minor call about, either officer did a really good job, or, hey, I'm really upset I got a ticket, or I have to go to Roanoke. Sometimes we get that question. So, but we're not getting any formal complaints because our officers are doing something bad. That's what this monitors. This is what this is looking for. Are we doing things outside of the law when we're stopping people on the street? We have over 15,000 encounters a year between our calls for service and our self-initiated calls, and then our traffic stops. So the officers, with 20 active working officers, I know we have 23 on the books, but we only have about 20 actually working. So that's a lot of activity for a small town. but this report shows that we're doing a great job and maintaining the high level of professionalism that you require of them.
Wow. Now, is that a part of the safety, #1 safest town in Texas?
Yes, it helps with that, yep. Yes, we were recognized as
That's
the safest
excellent.
city in Texas this year, so that's a pretty,
That's
that
excellent.
part of this goes into that, so.
Thank you.
People don't like to commit crime where the police are, and our guys are doing a pretty good job of exposing themselves.
Excellent.
So, and this is one of the charts on the breakdown of how the profile, this is a racial profile and only deals with the people that we're stopping in their race. So, we did a pretty good job, and you can see the breakdown here on the percentages. So, and who's getting warnings, who's getting tickets, so. And this has been fairly consistent, even going back more years than just last year, so. And one of the things that Dr. Del Carmen points out in his report is that Trophy Club is doing a really good job on training our officers, staying compliant with state law and consistent with the state law. So, and we do have an outside agency audit all this. This is produced by Dr. Del Carmen and his company. They review all of our stats. We send them our stats every month. They review them, they stay on top of it, and if they have any questions, whatever, they call us up and talk to us about it.
Has he
So-
been reviewing us for a number of years?
Yes, ma'am. He's
How
been
many-
here
so
the whole
he's-
time I've been here, so.
Okay, good.
Yes, he's
Okay,
been doing a
thanks.
fantastic job.
Thanks.
So this year, we did have, here's his statement. We did have 2 uses of force, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but they were identified during this report. Because the officers, we have an automated ticket writing system, and they clicked the box that said use of force, so you'll see that in the report. That was where we had a DWI. We had 2 DWIs, both led to an arrest. And so that's where the use of force came in, and it was basically handcuffing somebody. We had to take each individual to the ground and handcuff them. So we use physical force, which is a normal operation when we're arresting somebody, but they checked the box, so we documented that. We went out of our way to make sure that we put that in a form and noted it on our reports. So was it a use of force? Not technically, but we documented it because we actually put our hands on somebody and took them to the ground and cuffed them. So, and we'll get into a little bit more of that in the next report. So, but any questions on this as we stand today?
Good.
Nope.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good, thank you.
So I'll make a motion then to accept the Trophy Club Police Department's 2025 Racial Profile Report.
I'll second.
Stacy seconds. Are there any discussion? Any questions?
I'm good.
Are you thinking?
No?
Okay, wake up. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? None. Motion passes.
Thank you
Good
very
job.
much.
Item 16, presentation of the following Trophy Club Police Department policies and reports. Annual use of force report, annual police pursuit report, taser energy weapon policy, drone policy.
Thank you. Mayor and council, again, tonight, these won't require any action. These are just an update to the community. These reports are required for our accreditation, and I think it's a good idea to let the community know how we're doing. So these will be published on our website, and this talks about how our department is doing. So you have a department of 24 positions, police department, and we have 20 officers on the books today. And so this year, we had the 2 uses of force. This report's broken down in 2 parts. Use of force and threat of force. So the use of force is where we actually talk to somebody, we put our hands on somebody, and they're resisting us, and it's a response to that resistance, or they're trying to hurt us, or vice versa. So what happened during those 2 arrests, during the DWI arrests, one of them was an intoxicated person, was arguing with the officers, refused to get out of the car, had a taser in the car, was threatening to use the taser. They eventually get the person out of the car. The person makes a move to go back into the car. They grab that person, take him to the ground, and cuff them. There's nobody, they weren't hurt. They scratched, I think, an elbow or something, refused assistance, but we went ahead and documented that. That's one of the cases. The second was another DWI arrest, similar deal, no threats of tasers or anything like that, but the officers used force, physically grabbed them, put them on the ground, and cuffed them. That's what we documented as our 2 uses of force in this report. And you can see that, it's in here, it's detailed, it's written up. And then The next part of this report is the threat of force. And we had 7 threats of force. So that is where we either pulled out our weapon or a taser. In these 7 circumstances, we took our weapons out of the holster and used them to either search a house or ask somebody to get out of a car at gunpoint, where the officers weren't sure what they were dealing with. So there were 7 of those. Last year, we had almost, I think, 14 of those. So doing a much better job this year, much more professional, getting in and getting out and having to use our skills and professionalism to interact with people and make sure we're not doing these kind of things. So it's working out really well for us, and that's what this report details. So as you can see, we document the day of the week, on when these are occurring. We're trying to look for trends. Is there something trending? Does it trend by shift? Does it trend by officer? These are all part of our early warning systems, like racial profiling, use of force, pursuit. And there's one report we won't be talking about tonight because we didn't have any this year, and that's injuries to officers.
Oh.
We had no injuries to officers this year, so that report's really just a one-sentence report.
Well, I did
So-
see a trend in there. Why is Friday seem so zippo? Nothing's happening on Friday?
Yeah, it just depends on how the year goes.
Is that, I find Friday,
Just,
I find Friday.
Yeah.
It's only-
nothing
Friday
happening on
night,
Friday.
Saturday
only-
Interesting. Huh?
only 9 out of 365 days. So my uncle managed a hardware store for 27 years, and he said it was full moon. When people come in, it's the full
That-
moon. So I would look at it week over week and see what the phase of the moon looks like.
But Tuesdays are kind of the same way. Both of those days tend to
Yep.
be very void.
That's right. Well, when we only have 9 events that we're recording,
Oh,
it
well, okay.
it does
Okay, then you,
does sort of fall out here and stuff, so, but the reason why we're doing this report is to make sure that our officers are doing exactly what they're supposed to do and doing it right. So we're looking for trends to make sure that if there's something we need as a command staff to fix, this helps us identify that. That's the other part of this, not only letting people know how the police officers are performing, but also help us identify anything we need to be working on. And like the racial profiling report said, there's nothing in it that we need to change or fix in our policies. And that's what we identified in this report also was, there's nothing that the officers are doing that are leading us to need to go in and amend our use of force policy or change any of our procedures at this time. That's what this report helped us identify for this year. So, any questions on that? Okay, thank you very much. I'll move on to the pursuit report. So this year, we only had 3 pursuits. So 2 were actually ours. Last year, we had 6. So 2 were initiated by the Trophy Club Police Department. And they lasted less than a minute, and they were terminated by the officers. Because, there's certain category we have, if you look at our policy, which is attached in the document, it tells the officers and the supervisor when we can pursue and when we don't. And then when we terminate a pursuit, when it starts to hit certain benchmarks. So speed, what's the reason we're chasing somebody? Why are we trying to keep up with this person? Things like that help us determine do we want to continue this or not. And then the environment that we're in, right? So the 2 we initiated, we 2 immediately stopped. We felt that was not necessary to chase that person. So the one we did stay with was an assist of Roanoke. Roanoke was chasing somebody, they had a real reason to stay with it, and we only had 1 unit in that pursuit that tagged along until the person was stopped and arrested. So those are all documented in here. They do note the exact time it started, the time it stopped, how long we were in there, what we did, and all that stuff. So another report that we looked through as a command staff, talked about it, and there's nothing in our policies or procedures that we need to change or amend at this time or this year. So that's another good marker for our department, showing the professionalism of our officers. But all the details are in here for the community to see. So any questions on that? So, cool. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move on. So as you can see, we did have 7,200 traffic encounters. So out of 7,000 cars, we had 2 run from us. So, and we let them go. So, and last year, I don't know if you remember, we had the motorcycles run from us. We were able to identify them using video and stuff from the gas stations, and we're able to arrest them. So, Yeah, so those were part of those 6 pursuits. 2 of those, we did get arrested, even though we terminated those pursuits. CID was able to follow up, so another good stuff that the department does. So, TASER policy. Last year and on this current year's budget, you approved the department to switch to the new TASER 10, which is a completely redesign of the TASER device, which is a conductive energy type of weapon to stop people. It's a less lethal device. So with that device being issued, we amended our policy. TASER trademarked the name TASER, so they asked that we change our policy to read TASER instead of conducted energy weapon device. So that's mainly what you see in here, and then an enhancement to our training. New training comes with this device. It's a virtual reality training. It's VR simulated goggles. It's real-life motion device type training and real-time scenario, and it's dual officers. So 2 officers can be working at the same time on a subject and interacting with each other during that training. So it's much more realistic and real field training that goes with this device. Our policies to use a TASER stays the same, and reporting and medical, everything else that goes along with the use of a TASER has not changed. But it was a big change when you take out conductive energy weapon and change it to TASER throughout the whole policy. So that's why we brought this one forward, and it is a new device to the community.
I'm sorry, how many do you have of those?
We bought 25.
So.
So every officer
Oh,
has his
good.
own.
Okay, I
Yep.
just wanted to be sure, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so every officer has their own.
Okay.
So, thank you. Any questions on that? So
Mm.
I'll move on to, and this is what it looks like. This is what the VR looks like. And the difference between the TASER 7 that we were currently using had 2 shots. TASER 10 now has 10. So, and a much greater reach. So we don't have to get as close to somebody to use it. Here's the next policy we're going to talk about. This is a new policy to the department. So we don't have a drone program today, but we are working towards one. So it was approved in this year's budget by both CCPD and council. And so we went ahead and established our policy.
Okay.
Our policy sets out the guidelines, the training, the uses for, and the prohibition of when we're not supposed to use it, when we won't use it. So some of the things we'll be using it for is special events, a lost individual. If somebody was to run from the police or something, we'll help search for them. A missing person that's left their house or is lost, we'll try to use it for that. Surveillance on special events. So if we have, like July 4th is a big deal to scan the area, watch traffic control. When the football stadium comes online, we'll use it for that, for monitoring the parking lots, things like in the stadium itself, not over the stadium, but around the stadium. It will not be used for surveillance. It's not a surveillance device. It won't be used for that. And that's why we really went ahead and put our prohibitions on here. So no surveillance. It won't be used to harass or intimidate or track anybody like that. So, and then the next important thing is the data. The data is recorded on a little SD card on the device, and we will only keep that for 30 days. So unless it's needed for an investigation, it would then go into the video system that we have for our law enforcement stuff and save that way, and the SD card would be cleaned after 30 days.
So that's like the flock cameras, that goes, is that a
Yeah.
30, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's
flock
still
cameras,
30 days, yeah.
Yeah, so this, good.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
thing. I mean,
sure.
that's long enough to
Sure.
determine if we're going to need
Yeah.
it, and it gives the CID a time to go back and look and
Good.
see if they, hey, we
Yeah.
missed something, let's look at that. Otherwise, we just wipe it clean and move on.
Sure.
So, it's another enhancement to the department. So it's something that brings another level of professionalism to the department and safety.
Good.
So, any questions on that? I think
Any questions?
that wraps up everything I have tonight.
Whoa, this is pretty
So-
quick. That's less than 30 minutes the whole time.
Okay. Well, thank you. I
Very good
appreciate it.
job.
I appreciate everything you guys have done in support of the police department. You know, like we did, we spent a lot of time talking,
Yes.
especially about the ordinances and stuff. And so again, thank you.
And by the way, I know that I read through the packet, and I just want to continuously tell the residents, if you're watching and you're listening, all of these policies are online, correct?
Yes.
Because they're in your packet. If you want to look at your agenda packet, they're there. If you want to print out a ream of paper, they're there. So know that this is transparent, and you can look at the policies as you will, and I think it's an important service that we offer this town. Thank you for your work. Thank you for the data collection and the report. Any other comments? There is no action on this. This is a report.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Captain Woodward. Stand up, get a hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, we are going to go to executive
Before
session.
executive session, we did have somebody arrive late and would like to address the council under a public comment.
Okay,
Patty Stolte.
okay, Patty? Hi, Patty. Pull your, there you go.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to me. I had planned on being here before 7, and I was going to be on time. But as you know, I was working at the polls today.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and they close at 7. But I had, anyway, I could not leave at 7 because I did not have a car. Why didn't I have a car? Because it had been blocked in by the dirt that they were pushing up Forest Hill Drive.
Okay.
Now, I have talked to Scott about it previously, because that happened another day where I had to take an Uber. Today, I was close enough that somebody could come pick me up.
Wow.
But, of course, that meant I was late because we couldn't get out of there till 7:15. So anyway, now on to Forest Hill. I guess, other than that, I don't know what you heard before, but the thing seems to be on the finishing of the street. And most of the things that are happening down by the golf course. So I don't think the golfers are going to be happy going over bumpy when they're going from one side of the course to the other. Plus, I'm asking if any of you have ever walked up Forest Hill. Not just around where the golf course is,
Yes.
but if you've actually walked, you have.
I used to walk that. It's a walk.
Okay, so you know what a hill is.
I do.
And
That hill, I know.
And the first time you walk it, most people stop halfway just to catch their breath. Kids always walk their
Part of the
bikes.
hill.
It's just too steep. So we don't need anything to make it less people-friendly. And because there are no sidewalks, and because of the incline, everybody's on a hill, you can't walk on the grass either. Or you'd be walking sideways. So the fact that the road is going to be slanted for drainage, I'd like to see it a smoother finish so that it's either nicer than what's there now, or, you know, what you do down by the golf course is fine. But I live up at the other end. And I've been there for 43 years. So can we get something nice up there? Also, let's see what else I had on that. Mostly that's it. I don't know what they talked about earlier. They were going to talk about the petition that went around and a lot of people signed, and if that meant anything to anybody. And also, this is a note on the side. Did anybody talk about Inverness and this doing something to stop the traffic?
We're not permitted to
can't
respond,
Oh, okay.
but you're free to tell us.
Well, then I won't
Yeah.
give you my
You
two
have to
cents
tell
on that,
us,
because
yeah.
that has been
Thank you.
studied before. I was on the town council in the early 90s, and we had the same problem. And let's see. I guess that basically, just if you'd all just walk up and down and ask the engineers to walk up and down. As you said, it is a hard street to walk up and down. And people do walk it because it's a mile around. If you walk what the detour is now, it's just about a mile if you're clocking yourself. So would you kind of take it into consideration and maybe help us out?
Thank you. Thank you, Patty.
Thanks.
Thank you for your service at the election as well.
Have you voted yet?
Oh, I voted. Okay, so would you like to read our?
Executive session. Pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Government Code, the Town Council will recess into executive session to discuss the following. Section 5510712, consultation with town attorney. Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1, notice of termination effective July 21st, 2026, to the amended and restated contract for wholesale water supply and wastewater treatment services and water and wastewater operational services, and the First Amendment thereto. Section 551072, deliberation regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property owned by the town and related to the town's elevated storage tank and the town's water and wastewater infrastructure located in the Public Improvement District.
Okay, it's 8:19. We will adjourn to the executive session, please.
Look at all this quick.
It warms up with all these people in here.
There's a whole lot of hot air in there.
I love these blue pens. I'm going to take a few home with me.
Why? I keep bringing them from home and giving them back to,
There you go, keep the circle going.
Well, I leave them here as well, but sometimes You ready? Okay, it's 8:53. We are reconvening into a regular session, and we have a motion,
A statement
a
and a motion.
statement,
yeah.
actually, a directive, actually.
Right, and we'll have a motion. So,
Okay.
so relative to our executive session discussion about transfer of water and wastewater assets, the town's delivered documents with the proper legal instruments to convey the water and wastewater assets to the MUD, and the town is waiting for the MUD to execute those delivered documents. Among other important matters, those documents recognize the existing deed restrictions on the properties where the water and wastewater assets reside. The existing interlocal agreement between the town and the MUD for water and wastewater services is sufficient to continue cooperation to deliver water and wastewater services to Trophy Club. It's a 99-year contract. And so, knowing that, I move that we direct staff to offer the MUD the town's original documents again for the MUD to receive conveyance of the town's water and wastewater assets. And we would further direct staff to discontinue ongoing discussions with the MUD that do not result in them signing those documents as presented.
Is there a second?
well, we're not making a motion or
No.
voting, we're just giving.
Well, we're not making a motion.
No, it's a motion.
I think it's a motion.
Motion, all right.
No,
Yeah, I'll
it's a motion.
second
Yeah, okay, Dennis seconds. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes, and we're adjourned, 8:55.
Got out before 9, look at you.
It's not bad. You're not tired.